Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. I screamed so loudly that the walls seemed to shake. The video on the television froze me, standing in the dim corridor of our apartment building, my hands resting on my swollen belly, whispering something into the watchman's ear. He smiled at me in that gentle, understanding way he always did. Then his hand brushed mine. I remembered that moment. It had felt innocent, comforting. But watching it replay through the hidden camera footage my husband had recorded made it look like something entirely different. I stood trembling, the remote slipping from my hand. Aram, what is this? My husband didn't answer. He sat back on the couch, his eyes cold, detached. You tell me, Zara, what exactly am I watching here? The footage continued, frame by frame, me confiding in the only person who had seemed to notice my loneliness these past months. 8 months pregnant, exhausted, craving even a hint of care. Aram had buried himself in work, always too busy, too tired, too annoyed. The nights were colder than winter, even with him lying next to me. I'd found solace in Naveed, the watchman, a quiet man in his 40s with tired eyes and a kind smile. He'd always been there, when I struggled with grocery bags, when I fainted one morning from low blood sugar, when I sat on the bench outside just needing to cry in peace. He never crossed a line. He only listened. Until that one evening. The rain had been pouring heavily. I'd come down with swollen feet and tears in my eyes after another fight with Aram. Naveed had offered me an umbrella, then quietly stood beside me as I wept. A woman carrying life should never carry sadness too, he had said softly. His words broke me. I had clung to his arm, crying uncontrollably. He held me, nothing more. But now, seeing it recorded from another angle, it looked damning. Aram's voice cut through my thoughts. You think I wouldn't find out? You think I wouldn't see how you've been sneaking down at night, sitting with that man for hours? Aram, please, I whispered, my voice cracking. You don't understand. Oh, I understand perfectly, he snapped. I understand that my wife prefers the company of a security guard to her own husband. My chest tightened painfully. You installed cameras without telling me? I had to. Something felt off. You stopped talking to me, Zara. You started smiling at your phone, sneaking outside when you thought I was asleep. What was I supposed to think? His words were like glass, sharp and deliberate. He wanted to wound me. I wasn't cheating on you, I said, tears spilling over. I just needed someone to talk to. Talk to? At midnight, in the rain. The footage paused again on my tear-streaked face as Naveed's hand brushed my shoulder. Aram's jaw clenched. You disgust me. My knees went weak. I tried to speak, but the air felt too thick. I'm pregnant, Aram. I've been alone in this marriage for months. You don't touch me, you don't ask me how I am. You just vanish. He was kind to me when you weren't. Aram rose slowly. His voice was quieter now, but colder. So that's your excuse? I neglected you, so you ran to another man. I wanted to scream that it wasn't like that I'd never once betrayed him in thought or deed. But even I couldn't tell where emotional need ended and betrayal began. He stared at me for a long, hollow moment before whispering, I can't unsee that. Then he walked out. That night, I sat alone on the couch, surrounded by silence. The house still smelled like him, his cologne, his coffee, the faint musk of his shirts. The cameras, hidden behind vents and light fixtures, stared at me like unblinking eyes. I felt stripped bare. My mind kept replaying every conversation with Naveed. The soft voice that had asked if I was okay. The way he'd said, you deserve someone who listens. Had I crossed a line when I smiled back? A knock came at the door. I froze. When I opened it, Naveed stood there holding a thermos. Madam, he said quietly. I heard shouting earlier. Are you all right? I wanted to yell at him, to tell him to go away, but my lips quivered. He saw everything, I whispered. The cameras. He saw us. Naveed's expression darkened with guilt. I didn't mean to cause trouble. You were just lonely. I only wanted to help. I know, I said softly. But he thinks. He looked down, ashamed. Then maybe I should leave this job. No, I blurted out, gripping the doorframe. You didn't do anything wrong. It's me. I let it happen. I let the lines blur. He hesitated, then placed the thermos in my hands. You should eat something. It's bad for the baby. When he turned to leave, I saw something in his eyes. Sorrow, maybe, or longing. Couldn't tell. Days passed without a word from Aram. He didn't come home. He didn't answer my calls. The silence felt heavier than any fight we'd ever had. Every kick from the baby reminded me of the storm I'd created. I wondered if my child would grow up in a broken home because I'd sought comfort where I shouldn't have. On the 5th day, I received a message. Check the cameras one last time. My stomach churned. I logged into the security system. The footage played. This time it wasn't of me. It was from the previous night. Aram, standing in the same corridor, talking to someone in the shadows. The angle shifted slightly, revealing a familiar face. Naveed. Their conversation was muffled, but the words were clear enough. You said you'd delete everything, Aram hissed. I did, Naveed said nervously. But I kept one copy, just in case. In case of what? In case she ever blamed me. You promised she'd never find out. My blood ran cold. Aram's voice dropped. You got your money. Now disappear. The footage ended abruptly. Couldn't breathe. My legs gave out as the truth hit me. The cameras hadn't been about suspicion. They'd been part of something darker. An arrangement. A trap. Aram had hired Naveed to watch over me, to see if I would break. He had set me up to fail, using my loneliness against me. I stared at the screen, my heartbeat pounding in my ears. All that pain, all that humiliation, it had been orchestrated. When Aram finally came home, I was ready. He looked at me cautiously. Zara, we need to talk. I met his gaze, calm but cold. You filmed me. You humiliated me. You made a deal with him. He froze. You saw the footage. Yes, and now I see what kind of man you are. I stepped closer, my voice trembling. You didn't just lose your wife tonight, Aram. You lost your child's mother too. Because I won't let my baby grow up in a house where love is replaced by surveillance. He tried to speak, but I walked past him, hand on my belly, tears streaming silently. Outside, Naveed was gone. The gates stood open, the city lights reflecting off puddles from a recent rain. I stepped into the night, feeling the weight of betrayal dissolve into something colder. Freedom. For the first time in months, I didn't feel watched. I only felt alive.